Hello everyone, my name is Hannah. Welcome to a new reading vlog. This reading vlog is going to be all about Daisy Haites by Jessa Hastings. So this is book 2 in the Magnolia Parks universe. Also look at, I got daisies on my shirt. You can't really, there's that one. There's others. There's one over here. I did a reading vlog of the first book, Magnolia Parks, which I did a non-spoilery section, but I had spoilers in it where I made sure that you knew that there were spoilers. So if you want to go watch that, I'll leave it linked down in the description down below, and I'll try to remember to link it up in the cards. But I loved this book. I loved it. I tabbed the absolute crap out of it and highlighted and annotated everything. I just had the best time reading this. It was so beautiful, and I got so attached to these characters. So yes, if you want to go watch that reading vlog, I will leave that in the description down below. You should go watch that first. But in this vlog, I'm going to be reading Daisy Haites. So I am doing this all spoilers. So if you're here for the non-spoiler content of this book, I'm gonna have that in my Questathon vlog, my last Questathon weekly reading vlog. I'm not sure if that'll be out yet when this video goes up, but it'll be up soon if it's not already. So if you did want to watch me read this but watch the non-spoilery content, just wait for that vlog. This one, I'm not giving any spoiler warnings apart from this right now. This is going to contain spoilers for this book and for the first book. So if you haven't read either of these, please don't watch this. Please go read them and come back. So from what I understand, this book is basically this book, but from different perspectives, and there's just a lot else going on as well. So we're mainly following 3 characters in this one. We're following Daisy Haites, obviously, we're following Christian, and then we're following Julian, who is Daisy's older brother. And you see a bit of them in this book, but not a ton. You see the most of Christian because he's in Magnolia Park's friend group, but you see a little bit of Daisy and Julian, and I'm just really curious for their perspectives in this one, for their points of view. I've already set up my annotation system for this one. It's very similar to Magnolia Parks. So I have quotes I love from Christian, quotes I love from Daisy, angry or frustrating moments, love or romantic moments, sad, made me cry, funny, happy moments, significant moments, and then any Magnolia and BJ moments, because I just feel like I'm going to want to tab those. But yeah, Daisy is basically the sister of this gang lord. Julian is the gang lord in this one. I don't know much about him. I just know that he's supposedly very dangerous, but when he was in this book, he was really sweet and kind. So we'll see about that. I'm sure I'm going to like Julian. I don't know. And then we got Daisy a couple times in that one, and she was very standoffish, but we're getting her point of view in this one. And then Christian, who has a friends with benefits relationship with Daisy, but then I think she has feelings for him, but he's still hung up on Magnolia Parks because he fell in love with her in the first book. And it's just so messy. It's so messy. But I'm really excited to read this one. I'm really excited to get it started. But yes, again, if you're still here, obviously I was already talking spoilers, but if you're still here and you haven't read either of these, especially this one, please just leave, because there's going to be spoilers all about this book. So yeah, this is what I'm going to be reading. I'm going to pick this up today. I have a couple other things to do today, but I'm hoping I can get a good chunk. I would love it if I could get the first 100 pages read today. I just wanted to quickly show that I got these stickers. So I have these cute pastel neutral color hearts, and then these little honeycomb hearts with bees in them. So I'm going to add these to Magnolia Parks, to the certain parts that I want to add them to, especially the bees. They're so cute. I love them. Hello everyone. I'm here for my first check-in. I made it to page 103, so I wanted to do a quick check-in because I don't think I've really said anything since I've started this. So let's talk about it. So far, basically, we are just seeing Daisy and Christian's interactions and how Daisy is full stop in love with him, and Christian is full in denial that he loves Daisy, because clearly he has feelings for her. He gets jealous when she talks to other guys, but he keeps telling Henry no, we're not like that. We don't fight. We don't get jealous. I don't have feelings for her. That's ridiculous. And we're getting a lot of Christian's point of view of him still being in love with Parks, and he's totally admitting that to himself. I just read a scene where it was like when Daisy and Magnolia meet for the first time, and Christian is like using Daisy to try to make Magnolia jealous. I don't know if it was that scene exactly. But yeah, Christian like walks across the room, kisses Daisy like in front of Magnolia to like try to make her jealous. And Daisy's like, I really wanted that to be like what it was for me, and I know that it had nothing to do with me. And that is frustrating to me. Like, my annotation here is literally that Christian is doing to Daisy what Magnolia does to him, because in Magnolia Parks we see that Magnolia sort of uses Christian to make BJ jealous, and I know she does it semi-consciously, but I don't think she's doing it like on purpose to hurt Christian. She just knows that Christian would be the one to hurt BJ the most, and that's like a shitty thing to do. But Christian's doing it to Daisy. Like, he's just like, yes, they're friends with benefits, so there's like no feelings involved, but he's just using her to make Magnolia jealous at that point. And then I think obviously that he starts developing feelings for her that he doesn't even realize. Also loving the little bits of like Magnolia and BJ that we're getting from their perspectives. I think this is Daisy's perspective. She says she was talking about how like Christian was, you know, touching her and kissing her and stuff, trying to make Magnolia jealous, and Magnolia wasn't even paying attention. It says, but she wasn't like looking at him because she doesn't see anything but BJ. It's fascinating actually being in a room with them. It doesn't matter who they're around or what they're doing. It's almost trance-like, the way they move towards one another, like moths to flames. Romantic, dearly. Oh, I just love that. But yeah, Daisy also like very much hates Magnolia. And you can totally tell that it's in the way of like being jealous that the person you like likes them, because she's talking about like how perfect Magnolia is and how annoying that is, and like how, you know, she's funny, but of course she's not funny, and like stuff like that. And at this point, like, I know I know that they're like at odds with one another, Magnolia and Daisy. Like, Daisy obviously just does not like Magnolia, and then Magnolia's like, why don't you like me, dude? But I really want them to be friends because I think they would be like really good friends. But at this point, Magnolia is still kind of using Christian as a crutch to make BJ jealous, and then Daisy is in love with Christian, so she's mad about that, and she's mad that Christian still loves Magnolia. Other than that, we just see some really funny scenes between Daisy and her best friend Jack. Like, all of their text messages back and forth are just like the funniest thing ever. I love them so much. They're just so funny. Julian, we haven't gotten like a ton of his perspective yet. We've got a few chapters, but they're pretty short. He's basically just like a protective older brother. Daisy and Julian's parents were murdered, so he's very protective of her. I did decide to add an extra tab color for Julian's point of view, but I haven't written it in yet because I'm not sure if he's gonna have like quotes that I love. If he does, then I'll write it in, but I just realized that I wrote quotes I love for Christian, quotes I love from Daisy, and there's a whole other perspective in here, so like, what if there's a good quote in there? So I decided to add another tab. There have been some sad parts because Christian is talking about basically this unrequited love he has for Magnolia, but also like how his home life is not the best. His little sister drowned in a pool, which I feel like it's been mentioned several times because Jonah and BJ are the ones that found her, but it hasn't really been like talked about that much. So he has that whole thing, and then his parents are obviously fighting because of that, like because it's so hard to lose a child and they're playing the blame game, and so it's just like a rough time. And then Daisy also has a pretty like traumatic childhood because she was like there when her parents were murdered. Like, not only did she lose both of her parents because of murder, but like I think she may have seen them. She hears like the sound of them being murdered, which is just like so traumatic. So I feel like that's definitely going to play into the trauma bonding for these two once they decide to talk about it. But yeah, so far, you know, I'm only 100 pages in, so not like a ton else has happened, just like being with the characters. I do really like Daisy. I like that in her perspective she does like little footnotes almost, where like she has a thought and then it's like you know, where she's like, oh, I like Christian. Okay, fine, love. It's just funny like that. So yeah, I am hoping to read some more tonight. I'm going to be on sprints on Rachel's channel, and I'm hoping that I can get like another 50 to 100 pages read tonight. Somewhere around there would be great. That's where I'm at now. Hello, so I am currently on reading sprints on Cammie's channel, but I wanted to do another update because I made it to page 200 in Daisy Hates. I'm on chapter 35, page 202, and I feel like a lot has happened in those last 100 pages. So the first thing that I want to talk about here is we finally find out what happened to Daisy and Julian's parents. I didn't realize how much of an age gap Julian and Daisy had. He is 10 years older than she is. So when their parents were killed, he was 18 and she was 8. And it happened when they were all together and their parents were shot, and Julian had to like save Daisy. Like their dad like stepped in front of Daisy so she wouldn't get shot by this like rival person. I don't even know, like this hitman. And Julian like grabbed Daisy and ran away, and then ended up having to like kill the shooter. And then they of course find out that their parents like were killed. They were shot like fatally. And we got that whole scene from Julian's perspective, and it's basically just about him like trying to protect Daisy now at all costs, and just like explaining what happened and how traumatized obviously she is from that and he is from that, and how like from that moment on he had to look after her, like she was his responsibility, and he became like more of a parental figure in her life. And like because of what she saw and what she went through, what they both went through, but she wouldn't talk to anybody but him, and it took a long time for her to like open up to talking to other people. So yeah, that was a crazy chapter to read from. We get more of Daisy and Christian and their silliness, honestly. Christian talks about how like him and the boys went to Prague and had like this like weekend away where he like slept with a bunch of people, and he's like telling her that. I don't even know why he told her that, like he was trying to make her jealous, except he knows that they don't do jealousy. But then Daisy immediately is like, okay, then me and all of the guys and Julian are gonna go to Italy. And so she goes to Italy. I don't even know, have I even talked about Romeo yet? Who is like Daisy's ex-boyfriend, and they have like this on again off again relationship that is like low-key similar to Magnolia and BJ's relationship. Not quite as like extreme, but where they always come back to one another. Like they both do things that hurt the other person, and then they get split up, and then they have like a big fight, and then they end up coming back together and falling back into that same old routine. And honestly, like I like Romeo, he is funny, but obviously I want Daisy and Christian to be together. But she goes to Italy, and then Christian has this whole scene, I kid you not, I reread it like 4 times because it was so funny. I was laughing so loud. It's on page 143, and he's talking about like how he doesn't like Italy all of a sudden because that's where Daisy went. And this whole scene, I can't. He says, why'd we come to an Italian restaurant then, hey? What? Henry looked at me confused. Italian food. I fucking hate Italian food. Henry's frown deepens. You love Italian food. It's just that Italy is so shit, don't you think? There's all these old buildings, everyone makes such a big deal about them, but it's like, build a fucking new building, you know what I mean? Tara glances from me to Henry, back to me. No, not really. And why are they so proud of that stupid leaning one, basking in the failures of a man? That's so fucked up. Henry frowns. Okay. It's just overrated as a nation. It's dumb, so basic. 3 colors on its flag. How many colors do you think our flag has then? Henry interjects. And he's like, and pasta? Fuck me, get a new thing to talk about. Right, Tara nods, chin in her hand, a bit riveted. And how do we feel about pizza? Fuck pizza, I growl. He just goes off on how much he hates Italy, and it's just so funny because like Henry keeps bringing up like, dude, you actually love Italy, you're just like doing this because Daisy's in Italy right now, like that's where she ran off to. Oh, that whole scene was just literally so funny. My annotations, I just can't, it's so funny. And then of course that is when he comes to the realization that he likes Daisy. So because like Tara says like, okay then kiss me then if you're like so not into Daisy, and Christian just is like, yeah, I could totally do that. Like Tara's hot, I could kiss her, we've kissed before, it's just a kiss, like it's no big deal. And then he doesn't actually want to, and then he realizes, and he like pulls back from Tara, staring at her, frowning, and he says, shit, I stare over at Henry, I like her. And Henry's like, yeah dude, we knew that. But then of course when she comes back from Italy, she was with Roman. No, not Roman. Why do I want to keep calling him Roman? Romeo. She was with Romeo, and like they slept together. And so when she's back and Christian finds out that they were together, he's like all butthurt about it. So he's like, yeah, whatever. Like he was gonna tell her like that he liked her, and he just couldn't say it because she was with him. Oh, we also find out, I think towards the beginning of this 100 pages, wherever it was, where Julian ends up telling Christian that Daisy has almost been killed 3 times and Romeo has saved her from some of them. And there's one that they're like really hedging around. Daisy has mentioned it a couple times, Julian has mentioned it a couple times. It's like that time that we don't talk about. So I'm sure that's going to be like a big reveal, you know, later in the book. I want to know what went down there. But Daisy's had like a pretty traumatizing life, to be for real. Also, let me find it here. We get these text messages. Here's one. We get these text messages where it's just a random number. It doesn't say who it's between, but you can totally tell that it's Magnolia. And it's Julian texting her. So that's the start of something, because this is all happening, like this was all happening during this book. But I don't know that we saw those texts, and if we did, I don't know that we knew they were Julian yet, and we know that they had like a little fling back in the day, so I feel like that's definitely going to develop into something. And I really do like Julian. I really do like him. We definitely get more scenes of Christian just being like a total dick to Magnolia because he's so mad at her because he still loves her. And I know Lachlan was saying that a bunch of people like stopped liking Magnolia after reading this, but it's because 2 of the 3 perspectives that we get in this book hate Magnolia. So we're like in their head seeing the worst of her, like seeing their judgment passing on her. So like Daisy's hatred is fueled out of like mainly jealousy and just like envy, and like you can tell that she actually does like Magnolia. She just like doesn't want to, so she's like, oh, she's so perfect, I hate that, and like, you know, fuck her for saying this like funny thing. It probably would have been funny in a different life, but she's so stupid that I really hate her now. Like she just says stuff like that. And like Christian will be mean on purpose to Magnolia because it's like the only thing left of like these like intense feelings that he has, like because he loves her so much and he hates that she doesn't want him. So we definitely get a lot of their animosity. But yeah, I still love Magnolia, even though like, I mean, she's not blameless. She does some like particularly shitty things in Magnolia Parks, her book, but I still love her, and I feel like just because these 2 don't like her, that's not gonna make me not like her. So yeah, right now we are at the part, I just read the chapter from Christian's perspective where they are in Greece and he has that big fight with Magnolia, and then BJ ends up getting upset because Christian says something about like knowing what Magnolia looks like when she has an orgasm, and it pisses BJ off, and they have this like enormous fight, and we know what happens from there, but we get that from Christian's perspective. So that's where I am right now on chapter 35, page 202. So we're on sprints now. I have about 30 minutes left of these sprints, and I'm hoping that I can make it to page 300 tonight. Would be ideal. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I definitely do want to try. I'm not gonna be able to finish it, but it would be really cool if I could. So yeah, that's where we're at. I will probably do another check-in when I get another 100 pages read, or maybe when something like super massive happens. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Okay, I literally have you propped up on my laptop because I'm on reading sprints with Sahar and a couple other people. Lachlan's on here, Cammie's on here, and then Kaylee from Kaylee Books and Haley from Haley Hughes are also on here. So we're just kind of celebrating Sahar's birthday, which is tomorrow, by doing some reading sprints. And I'm still reading Daisy Hates. So I'm on page 260, and I wanted to pop in an update because we just got the scene. Okay, I'm gonna go back. But we got to the scene. Okay, so Christian finally tells Daisy like how he feels about her, and he's like, I only want it to be you, and I want you to only be with me. And so they like decide to be like in a relationship pretty much. And he takes her on the sweetest date, their normal date, where they just like do like normal things, like fill up their gas tank in their car and go to IKEA. And then the end of the date is him taking her to the laundromat so she can do laundry, because it's like one of her favorite things to do, because it's such a mundane, like normal person task. Oh my God, that part was so sweet. And then there's this freaking quote, like, so far, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but the writing in this has felt slightly different. Not like, I don't know how to say it without making it sound like so dramatic, but it feels a little bit different than it did in Magnolia Parks. But obviously we're following different characters and different points of view, so it's like distinguishing the characters, but it's still that Jessa Hastings writing that I love. This quote here, I have to read it. It's so good. So they're in the laundromat, and Christian and Daisy are like, you know, getting cute. They're kissing and stuff, and she says, I swallow nervously, and so does he. Takes my hand in his and puts the other on my waist, pulls me into him, kisses my forehead, and I don't know what good fortune my fate's found to weave into my life right now, but I find myself slow dancing with Christian Hems in a laundromat, and there's nothing normal about it. The universe actually is ablaze. The planets lose track of their orbits. The birds are poets now, and all the songs written before this and all the ones that'll come after this are about this moment. About how when we're standing, my ear rests right where his heart is. How one hand of his swallows the whole half of my waist. The beautiful nothingness of this, the most intimate moment of my life to date. A life that actually has been dotted with much intimacy, and I think nothing will ever beat him resting his chin on the top of my head. That's so beautiful. And like, okay, I have 3, this color is quotes that I loved from Daisy. This whole scene on page 228 and 229, I am just living for. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Like on page 229, she says, I think I understand for a fleeting moment why everything that's bad and painful and sad is worth it if you love someone, because I'll remember how he's looking at me now forever. The feel of him is my favorite feeling in the world, for all of history and all of time. Write it down, ring the town bell, and tell the scribes. I'll wear it on my heart's sleeve forever, that I love him. Oh, this is so good. And then we get to the scene where Julian has asked Daisy to help him with this like art thief thing. And usually he doesn't ask her. And something goes wrong. Like they're in this museum, and then these like other guys come and they like shoot up the place, like they kill a guard, and they're gonna kill Tiller, who is like the FBI agent that keeps investigating Julian, and they have like this flirtatious relationship, he and Daisy do, and it's kind of cute. Like obviously I do not ship them at all. I ship her with Romeo more than I ship her with Tiller, but obviously I ship her and Christian, like full stop. But yeah, so they just have like this little flirtation thing, and like one of the guys that's like broke into this museum and stealing art like figures out that he's a cop and is gonna shoot him, and so Daisy just like shuts that down, kills the guy to save Tiller's life, and then they get out of there, and she finds out that the guy that she killed is like part of this like Irish mob basically, and they were on like her no-fly list. Like they have these rules that her and Julian don't cross, and she's like, that's one of the people on her list that she never wants to work with because that person gets into human trafficking. And Daisy's like, hell no. And Julian asked that like gang leader to help with this job, and so Daisy's pissed, and so now I don't know what's gonna happen. We've like literally they just left the museum, and Julian's like, I gotta figure this out because we are in like a shitstorm. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm on page 260, chapter 47. So I've got about 30 minutes left of this sprint, so I'm gonna go read some more. Here we go. Okay, I just got to the part where Daisy finally talks about that other time where she was almost killed and like what actually happened with that, because there was a shooting at the club that they were at because they're trying to kill, like, the other gang people are trying to kill Daisy now because she killed one of theirs. And she ends up leaving the club with Romeo, and like he does like the whole thing because he's saved her life so many times, and they just kind of fall into this like reflex, is what like Miguel said, her bodyguard. So Christian is upset obviously because she left with Romeo, and he says, "Are you fucking around with me?" No, she says, "Biding your time till you and Rome work your shit out." And that line, you're just like, you know what Christian is like feeling in that moment. Sorry if you can hear the ambiance too, but like, because that's how he was with Magnolia, is like he wanted Magnolia and she just kept toying with him until it would work out with BJ, and that has like really emotionally damaged him. And so like having him have to see Daisy leave with her ex-boyfriend, and like this ex-boyfriend who she has a ton of history with, just like hit him a little harder. So that part was sad. And then Daisy explains everything that happened, and like that freaking traumatizing experience, like goddamn, she's been like, people have attempted murder on her life so many times. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Also, I did want to say, because I think at the beginning of this vlog I said that this book is basically Magnolia Parks but from different perspectives, and that is super not the case. I want to stop saying that. It's set during some of the events of Magnolia Parks, but it is not Magnolia Parks from different points of view. It is its whole own other thing. There's only been a few like overlapping scenes, honestly, and yes, it's written in a different perspective, but it is not that book, just like redone with different perspectives. It is a whole other book. There's so much else going on. It's just set like during the same timeline as Magnolia Parks. So I just wanted that to be clear, that this is not just like a regurgitation of Magnolia Parks from other people's points of view. It is its whole own separate thing. So I wanted to make that clear because it's just so different. It's a whole other thing.
Oh, here you are, face to face in this trashy bar. Another glass and I am going places. Makes me laugh about the irony of everything. I like the way you're thinking. I don't really care about the music on the dance floor. I don't really mind all the smoke is in the bathroom. I don't care at all, baby, you got my attention. So you were saying, oh no, I don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Where you wanna go? I am all about adventure times. Another drink and alcohol.
Hannah.
Guys, that was brutal.
Hannah. Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Dude, I'm so scared.
Me too.
Anyway. All right, I know it doesn't look like I've moved at all. I'm still wearing the same crew neck, still sitting in the same spot, but I did, sorry, Elise, stop wagging your tail. Come here, come here. Good girl. I did finish Daisy Haites on my sprint this morning. I showed a clip of it, of me reading the last chapter, and that one really got to me. And I showed Cammie and Rachel's reaction to me reacting to the last chapter. They're both currently reading it right now, so yeah, I thought their reactions were pretty funny. My reactions... But yeah, I wanted to pick up where I left off talking about this. So I think the last thing that I talked about was the shooting at the club when Daisy left with Romeo instead of Christian. And they were pretty much fine after that. I think I also talked about like what Daisy went through, like her telling Christian like what went down and how freaking traumatizing that was. Then we get to the scene where they go to Julian's birthday, I think is when it is. Whenever they go and like see Magnolia, and Christian kind of like scoffs and is, I don't know, doing something annoying, and Daisy is just like fed up with it. She leaves and they like have this huge fight in front of everyone and they break up, and she leaves with Romeo, and that's when Christian realizes that he's in love with Daisy. Ugh. And then Daisy is like completely devastatingly heartbroken by that, and she sleeps with Romeo a lot to try to like fill that void that she has within herself now, and she just is in like a downward spiral. Meanwhile, as all of this is happening, Christian's like realizing and coming to terms with the fact that he is now in love with Daisy and all that. And Julian is planning this stupid idea where he breaks one of Daisy's rules and ends up kidnapping these kids, which, not cool. I did not like that part. Like, I really liked Julian up until that point, and I was like, what the heck? Like, I feel like you did such a character flip there. Like, I'm so irritated with him right now. Like, I still like him, but like, my guy, what are you doing? So yeah, I'm a little frustrated with Julian, because then Daisy goes and wants to save these kids because she's like, not about that life. And she ends up shooting herself in the stomach so that they can have a getaway, so that Romeo is like focused on saving her and not like worrying about the kids. And that cop Tiller comes and helps save the kids. But yeah, she shoots herself in the stomach, and then she ends up being fine. Then we have this moment with Julian, and Daisy is like so pissed at him, and rightfully so, honestly. Like, that was like one of her like hard rules that he honestly should not have broken. Like, not okay. And he's like yelling at her because like he's like, you lost me 70 million pounds, and it's like, who cares? Like, you kidnapped 2 children after the shit that you two have been through. That was annoying. And then Daisy is like, I'm done. I'm leaving. Like, don't talk to me again. Don't try to contact me again. I am done with you. And Julian, first of all, he's obviously very hurt by that, but he's like prideful too. So he's like yelling back at her, even though he doesn't mean it, but still. She tells him, you're despicable. And he says, you're a traitor. And then he says this line that was too far. It's too far. On page 405, he said, as far as I'm concerned, you died with them on that beach. I glare over at her. Should have let you, you ungrateful little shit. Like, I literally wrote, whoa, low blow, Julian. Like, that was too far. That was too much. And she obviously is like, get out of my face. I don't want to see you again. And he's like, gladly. And then he leaves. And obviously, like, the way he's reacting, you know he didn't mean it. But he didn't know what to do there. And he says, like, can't shake the feeling that I maybe just got rid of the only good I had in me. So I'm very interested to see like what's going to go down with those two. And then Christian finally is able to come see Daisy. She's moved out, and they tell each other that they love each other, and it seems like it's going fine. And then immediately she's like, I want out of that life. Like, I'm not doing that anymore. And Christian was like, that is my life though. And she's like, I know I know. And he's like, but you love me. And she's like, yeah, I'm in love with you and you love me. And they end up like leaving it and having to like break up. She says, I want to be free of it, Christian, so I have to be done. Please let me be done. And he has this line here. I take a staggered breath, act like me understanding why she's saying what she's saying makes it hurt less, but it doesn't. Just push me in front of a fucking train, why don't you? But I nod a couple times instead. Try on for size the old adage of if you love someone, let them go. Even if you've just gotten them, which I have. Even if you hate how the world feels without them, which I do. I know that now. It's a hollow in me, where she used to lie on my chest at night. Feel her gone, like how you feel dust and dirt hit your face on a windy day. I don't want to let her go. I didn't even want to love her in the first place, but here we are, and I do, and I wouldn't take it back now. Couldn't. Even if I could, I couldn't, because I'll love her till I die. Whether I have her or not, whether she wants me back or not, I'm in, even if she's out. Okay, I nod barely. You can be done, baby. Thank you, she whispers, chin wobbling. I kiss the corner of her mouth, walk out her door, and then we don't speak for 10 months. And then we get the B, so we know we're back in Magnolia or BJ's point of view. It's Magnolia. She's in New York now. And this whole last chapter, I mean, you saw my reactions. It hit me in the chest. She was with Tom for a little bit there to kind of help like numb the pain. And he's like, I can't be with you. I can't love you if you're going to still be in love with him. And first of all, like, Tom, you knew what you were getting into. Like, were you not there for the whole first book? Like, what were you missing that you thought that she was just gonna be like, yeah, I don't love him anymore? Like, but yeah, I get where he's coming from, because like he can't keep loving people that don't love him back or that like won't let other people go in order to love him fully. But I'm just like, guy, you knew that was coming though. That nobody is surprised by that. So they end up breaking up, Magnolia and Tom, and then Tom's best friend hooks up with Magnolia at like the night that they broke up, which, does that sound familiar to you? But yeah, one of the last lines of the book is Magnolia saying, like, she hooked up with Tom's best friend, and she says, no metaphors this time, no flowery euphemisms, no allegories about the planets and fucking ships and shores. Fuck the ships, I am adrift. Cut the rope, let me drown. If this is drowning, I'll do it. It's an okay way to go. And then, so she like hooks up with him and she says, and I don't count his tattoos. I don't think of me and him pressed up against that stupid tree. I don't even think of his face. I think about how many girls he's fucked in a cloakroom over the years. And at the very, very end, after it's all said and done, she says, and I feel shitty and empty and so much sadder than I did before. So I do it again. And that's where we end it. Like, yeah. That last chapter just, like, she is in such a dark place right now, and I don't know where we're going to start The Long Way Home, if it's going to pick up literally right after that scene, or like what's going to go down. But anyways, 5 stars for this. I loved it. I love Daisy. I really want her and Christian to work out. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with them. I really need to start the next book. But yeah, I just absolutely loved this. So that is going to be it for this reading vlog. If you made it to the end of the video, leave, I don't think there's like a white daisy, leave like maybe the yellow flower or a tiger, or is there a washing machine? If there's a washing machine, that's what I want you to leave. If there's not, then leave the yellow flower or the tiger. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will definitely be doing one for The Long Way Home. I'm going to pick that up right away. Literally, I think I'm going to start it tonight. So I'm going to pick that up right away, and I'm going to start filming another vlog. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, thank you again so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye. Bye.